Okay, so in class we learned about three great kingdoms of Africa. All right, so we're going to go in order from the first or the oldest great kingdom in Africa that we talk about to the most recent, which was still quite some time ago. Right, so the first great kingdom that we discussed is Ghana. Right, so we should start by just kind of getting an idea about the continent of Africa. It's very luxurious in resources. What that means is that they have a lot of supplies and good soil that make it so that they're able to grow and make things to become very wealthy as a nation. Right, so you'll see here West Africa had both fertile soils, meaning that it was good to plant there, and valuable minerals like gold and iron. So they could trade this gold and iron, and then they could also plant all of their food in these good soils. So, because they had all of these great resources, they became known for trading. And that's when you give someone the resources that you have in and you trade it for something that they have that you need. So the trading and all of those resources is what led to these great kingdoms growing in West Africa. When we talk about these West Africans and their trading, they traded using trade routes. Okay, and all that that means is that there were specific paths that they usually used to trade. So when I went to go trade my gold for something else, I would take the same path to go trade it for the other people's resources, right? And those trade routes were controlled by people called Berbers, right? So these Berbers were Northern African people who controlled how the trade went and the trade routes. Oh, it's a very funny word to say out loud if you want to try it. And again, those Berbers are North African people who established or set up the trade routes through West Africa. We're going to skip this question. Okay. So again, these trade routes are just paths that they would use to trade their resources. So you'll see if you look on this map here, all of those yellow lines, those yellow lines are showing the ways that people went to trade, right? The routes that they used. So if somebody was trading from here in Ghana, which is where we're going to start talking about, they might use this route all the way up to the Sahara Desert in order to trade with this group of people. All right. And some of the things that they were trading included salt, gold, metals, shells, and slaves. Right? We know that unfortunately people were trading other people as slaves. We also probably know that gold is something that is very valuable, right? Gold is something that we think of as having to do with richness. Something that might be surprising is salt, right? And even though to us today, having salt doesn't seem like it would be glamorous or important, back then salt was worth a lot. So salt, gold, and slaves were their main resources that they would trade along these trade routes. What types of things did people trade? So I know I discussed some of the main ones, but they actually traded a lot more than that, right? So I know this is set up as a question, but I'm just telling you what the answer is, right? What types of things do you think people traded? They traded all sorts of things. They traded crops, food, and animals, spices, gold, clothing, fabric, supplies for building, tools, and weapons. Right? The answer would have been all of the choices because they traded any resources that they had, any extra resources they would trade. All right, now we're going into our first of the three empires that we talked about in class. Right? So the first of the great kingdoms is the Ghana Empire. Right, this part's pretty important. The Ghana Empire was created and became so powerful because of farmers, actually. Right? So before they were trading all of these resources, there was a lot of farmers using that good, fertile soil to farm all along the Niger River. Right? So here's the Niger River, this blue line on the map. So at some point after 300 AD, that's how long ago this was, there were another group of people who came and tried to take over all of the all of the farms and settlements that these farmers had made. Right? They wanted to take their water and their pastures and their animals. So, how Ghana became such a big and powerful empire is that all of these men who used to be farming separately on their own individual farms now decided that they were going to band together for protection. So instead of trying to fight these new people who were trying to take their water and pastures separately, they all grouped together to defend their farms. Them grouping together is what created Ghana because now it was a community that was working together. Because Ghana was on the Niger River, that again you can see using the blue line on the map, this made it a perfect trading center, meaning that they were near a good river that people could use to trade. And so, because they had all of these great farms and so much salt and gold, they became very rich and powerful. So they would trade their salt and their gold by using the routes along the river, these trade routes. And like I said before, we might know that gold is something that's worth a lot of money, but back then there were no refrigerators. So salt was actually equally important because they needed it to make sure that their food didn't go bad or didn't taste bad. All right, this is a reminder about how Ghana was formed. All right, so Ghana was formed because, it's this first one, farmers came together to protect themselves from the herders. They built armies and had better weapons than their enemies. All right, so after a while of being an incredibly powerful kingdom, Ghana Ghana actually gets attacked by another group of people. All right? And back then, when people would attack and take over kingdoms, they usually forced their culture and religion on them. Right? So the group that attacked Ghana, they were Muslim people who had the people of Ghana convert to Islam, meaning they had them change their religion to the Islamic religion. And you'll see as you watch the other review videos about the next two kingdoms that we talk about, is that the people of West Africa being Islamic really changes how they look at education later. All right, so even though Ghana was weakened and eventually Ghana stopped being a powerful kingdom, the influence of them following this Islamic religion still was very strong. Right, and then quick reminder that Berbers were the North African people who set up the trade routes in West Africa. Right, and the trade routes that the Berbers set up were specific areas or paths where the West African people of Ghana would trade salt, gold, metals, shells, and slaves. Okay, the next video is going to talk about our second kingdom that we discussed. And then our third video, again, will be our last video about the great kingdoms of Africa. Use this video if you are missing work to help you with. This video is going to help you with question 32 with the fist, right? Question 32. And then world question 33. Eventually, after watching all of the videos, they will all help you with the vocabulary word sort, 38, and the Great Kingdoms of Africa quiz, number 40.